Kia ora koutou everyone, nau mai, haere mai. Welcome to the 2025 Wall of Fame ceremony. Please be seated. This is an occasion when the school and old boys join to honour selected old boys who have distinguished themselves through their service and their achievements. Men who have been exceptional in their personal and professional lives in the arts, humanities, business, academia or sport. This is the 16th year that Kings has recognised old boys in this manner. Those chosen for the Wall of Fame exemplify the long-term King's calling to achieve a life of service, success and self-realisation, to become good men. Today we honour 7 individuals. And before we start, it's my privilege to welcome to the stage from the Kingsmen, the Old Boys Association, Chris George, President of the Kingsmen, Grant Howie, Vice President of the Kingsmen, John Barr, Glenn Dixon, Graham Helm and AJ Aston. Present from the Kingsmen Executive and seated in the front row, we have Hugh Kidd and Max Stevens. And here today from the King's Board of Trustees, Fraser Harold, Julie Broderick and Greg Heller. And we also have 5 inductees here in person: Jeff Thomas, Philip Craigie, Alfastia, Lox Callis and Ken Rutherford. A warm welcome to all family and friends present in support and to those of you joining us via streaming. Please everyone put your hands together to welcome all our guests to Assembly today. Today I will read selected achievements of each of these men. Each old boy will then come forward to be presented with an old boy's cap and a commemorative certificate with framing from the original school's timber. If not here in person, a clip or message he prepared for the occasion will be provided. His citation's been added to the King's Book of Honour. And each of these men is now on our esteemed Wall of Fame over in the main foyer. To our first inductee, Jeff Thomas. Jeff was announced last year, but we're delighted that he's here with us in 2025. Jeff's made significant contributions in various domains as a prominent figure in Dunedin. Since retiring from the legal profession in 2013, Jeff has remained based in Dunedin to actively pursue his not-for-profit, private commercial and governance activities. From April 2013 until the present, he has been self-employed as a company director and consultant. Jeff is a Chartered Fellow of the Institute of Directors and more recently became a Distinguished Fellow of the Institute of Directors, this being the highest accolade of the Institute. Jeff passed his school certificate examinations in 1961 and gained university entrance in 1962. On leaving King's, Jeff attended the University of Otago, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Laws degree. Jeff started in a 2-partner law firm, Anderson Lloyd. He remained with the firm for 43 years, becoming a partner and consultant. Rather than specialising in his career, he was a general practitioner of law. His major areas of interest were trusts and business and property law. When he retired from the legal profession in 2013, there were over 30 partners at Anderson Lloyd. Jeff had enjoyed seeing the growth of the firm. He also valued the broad range of industries he was involved in, including tourism, transport, engineering, and education. Jeff has governed prominent Otago organisations and companies. These include chairing the Dunedin Railway, Dunedin Casino, Otago Youth Employment Trust, Property Council New Zealand Otago Chapter, Larnac Castle, and the Principals Advice and Support and LawLink Group, among others. Jeff served as the chairman during the rebranding of the Dunedin Casino. The casino, now known as Grand Casino, underwent a transformation to better engage with the community. The rebranding not only changed the name, but enhanced the overall experience. New signs, staff uniforms, and refurbishments were part of this initiative. Under Jeff's leadership, the Grand Casino also extended its support to various charities, including Otago Cricket, Nuggets Basketball, Dunedin Wildlife Hospital, and Foster Hope Otago. Jeff's non-executive director roles have included Dunedin International Airport, Technology Holdings, and arts and culture boards such as the Royal New Zealand Ballet and Dunedin Fashion Incubator. A career highlight was Jeff's membership of the Institute of Directors, where he was introduced to so many businesses and met some wonderful people. Jeff was a member of the Institute for 17 years and contributed to the organisation on the Policy and Practices Committee, which oversaw the rewrite of Institute of Directors' text, The Four Pillars of Governance Best Practice. He was also on the accreditation panel and has held positions as Otago Southland Branch Chairman and member of the Institute of Directors National Council. On retirement from the law profession in 2013, Jeff continues to give back to business and the community with roles on various public, private and not-for-profit boards. Congratulations, Jeff. Please come over. Our second old boy to be inducted is Philip Craigie. In the 2018 New Year's Honours List, Philip was awarded the Queen's Service Medal for services to music. Philip was a school prefect in 1969 and head boy in 1970. He played in the first 15 rugby team in 1970. Philip won the Challenge Cup for the solo championship in the school brass band, which he was a member of the band from 1966 to 1970. On leaving King's, Philip attended the University of Otago, where he studied music and gained a BA degree and a diploma in teaching. Philip started playing with the Mosgiel Brass Band at the age of 14, more than 50 years ago. By the age of 19, while studying music at the University of Otago, he had already become the Mosgiel Band's conductor. After some time away, Philip returned to the band in the late 1980s and has been its musical director ever since. In 2016, the band blew its rivals out of the water by winning all three categories in the C grade of the Otago Southland Brass Band competition. The band took out the hymn, test and entertainment categories. This band excels in Mosgiel at Christmas. They play a series of roving performances outside houses in the area, running from 6 p.m. until 7:30 in the evening. The band members will perform on Mosgiel residential streets most Tuesdays and Thursdays until Christmas. We also give pre-Christmas concerts at Brooklands Village and the Chatsford Lifestyle Retirement Village in Mosgiel. Philip has contributed as a musician, teacher, mentor and musical director for over 50 years. He's been involved with St Kilda Brass and been the conductor of the Otago Symphonic Band. He conducted and led Celebration Singers on several national tours and a tour of Tasmania, and under his leadership the choir produced 4 records. Philip was heavily involved with the Otago Secondary Schools Music Festival Committee and prepared the constitution for the annual music festival to become an incorporated society. Philip has taught many students brass instruments through schools, community music programs, and as a casual teacher. He has accompanied several people doing solo performances on the piano. He organises community music groups, including an annual community concert and choir each Christmas. Over Philip's 40-year teaching career, he was Head of Department for Music at Riccarton High School, Head of Department Music at Otago Boys High School, Deputy Principal of Taieri High School for 12 years and Principal of Kaikorai Valley College for 11 years. Philip is a Mosgiel North Taieri Presbyterian Church member. His musical contributions enhance church services. He also chaired the Anniversary Organising Committee for the North Taieri Presbyterian Church's 150th anniversary. Congratulations, Philip. Please come forward.
Maybe the cap's a little bit small for the big head, I'm not sure. The Rector, Mr McIver, and members of the Kingsmen, and distinguished guests, and boys of King's High School. In 1969, there was a request made to the school were boys available to assist from time to time with search and rescue. So the King's High School Search and Rescue Unit was formed straight away. 2 staff became involved and about 10 boys from memory. We had meetings, there was some planning and organisation followed, but nothing happened for many weeks. Then there was a go home. Get your sleeping bags, your boots, your long trousers, hats and parkas, and we were on our way. 2 staff members' cars to South Otago, quite swiftly I remember, and the missing person that we were looking for hadn't returned from a day walk. We covered a designated search area until dark, had some food and a bit of sleep at a borrowed crib, and we were back into action at first light. The day was a hard slog, keeping visual contact with the person next to you, pushing through blackberry, gorse, creeper, lots of concentration required. Had to keep your eyes open. There was success, from what I remember, but it wasn't by us this time. The person was found alive and in reasonable condition. Organisers said they were appreciative of the attitude and willingness of the King's High boys to help. Jump forward to 2025. This is one of just many examples I have seen from a photo in the newspaper last week. 2 King's boys helping a number of local residents by moving and stacking firewood that had arrived on their properties. Those assisted were appreciative of the attitude and the willingness of the King's boys to help. The 5th rector of King's High School, Ian Simpson, gave his opinion back in 1986 of what is a King's High boy. He included adjectives like reliable, enthusiastic, frank, open, friendly, outgoing, an impish but seldom malicious sense of humour, an intense loyalty to the school, and a massive overall involvement in all that it has to offer. I agree with his summary. My years, long ago now, were great. The support I was given by the staff and my fellow students was immense. The leadership opportunities helped form and give me confidence for the things I became involved with for the rest of my life. Late in March, just this year, as part of a reunion of King's boys who started school in 1965, that's a long time ago, I was able to take part in a guided tour around the school. Physically, only the front fence and part of the gymnasium remain from my time, but there was an overwhelming feeling that everything is in good hands still. The academic achievement is extremely impressive. The strong involvement in sporting and cultural activities match up with some fine facilities, and it was good to see boys fully and enthusiastically involved in what they were working at as we visited. I was pleased to have the opportunity to take all this in. I am really honoured and humbled to be included upon the Wall of Fame, and I'm grateful to those who considered and decided I was worthy to be part of this award. Thank you.
Next to join our esteemed group on the wall is Al Fastia. In the 2025 New Year Honours List, Al received the New Zealand Antarctic Medal for his services to Antarctic heritage conservation. Al's family has a long association with King's, as his father, Alan Murray Fastia, was a founding pupil of King's, and Al's brother also attended this school. In 1975, his 5th form year, Al received an honourable mention in Commerce, Geography and English at the end-of-year prize giving. He followed this in the sixth form in 1976 with an honourable mention in geography and biology. After leaving King's, he initially trained as an electrical engineering technician. Then he changed direction with his career and obtained a Parks and Recreation Management degree from Lincoln University. This gave Al a broad theoretical understanding of personnel management, logistics, and heritage management. Al visited Antarctica first in 1987, working for Antarctica New Zealand as the Scott Base electrician. He then continued working as a field guide for Antarctica New Zealand and the United States Antarctic Program for multiple summers. Al was seconded from the Department of Conservation as a New Zealand government representative on tourist ships travelling to Antarctica for 3 expeditions, before joining the Antarctic Heritage Trust as the Ross Sea Heritage Restoration Program Manager. He held this position from 2006 to 23, and then as a conservation advisor from 23 to 24. The Ross Sea Heritage Restoration Project, RSHRP, launched in 2002, is an international project to conserve the 5 historic explorer bases and their artefacts associated with Scott, Shackleton, Borchgrevink, and Hillary. The RSHRP is an internationally recognised model for undertaking major multi-season cold climate conservation projects in remote areas. Since 2006, Al oversaw the implementation of the On-Ice Conservation Program, developing implementation plans for each site, from conservation plans prepared by heritage professionals. Under his leadership, the Antarctic Heritage Trust completed a major phase of work on Ross Island, including the completion of the conservation of 4 historic bases, survey work and repairs to Borchgrevink's remote base, and the conservation of more than 20,000 artefacts. During this time, Al chaired the Building Conservation Design Team, an international multidisciplinary team tasked with ensuring conservation work met best international practice. His mentoring and leadership of more than 80 heritage experts has developed an extensive network of conservation alumni, facilitating the international sharing of methodologies and learnings from the project. Al has demonstrated hands-on leadership by personally undertaking challenging and sometimes unpleasant tasks and led innovations to improve team comfort, safe working conditions and good environmental conditions. This included designing hard-shell field accommodation, conservation laboratories and carpentry workshops for on-ice use, ice melting equipment, installing snow deflectors at Terra Nova Hut, and developing a solar power system for field use. Al coordinated the program to conserve the original Scott Base mess building, which was Hillary's hut, and completing the project in December 2017. This building was constructed in 1957 and used to support Sir Edmund Hillary's Trans-Antarctic Expedition and the International Geophysical Year Science Program. This was recognised as the birth of New Zealand's Antarctic science, which continues at New Zealand scientific base, Scott Base. Al led the team that successfully conserved Ernest Shackleton's base at Cape Royds and Robert Falcon Scott's iconic bases at Cape Evans and Hut Point. This was a 10-year conservation program that operated continuously in Antarctica and involved over 80 conservation specialists from 14 different nationalities. Being involved in such an iconic international project provided an opportunity to work with passionate, dedicated people from various backgrounds and professions. Al's contributions have helped position New Zealand as a leader in cold climate heritage conservation. Congratulations, Al. Please come forward.
I'm pleased to say the hat does fit my head, so I must be like Cinderella. Right, it's a real honour to be inducted into the Wall of Fame today. I must say I'm very humbled by the award and the experience. Being back at King's after 48 years brings back many fond memories of my youth and my time at the school. It would be fair to say I was a very average student while I was at King's. I was not that academic. I did not play sport, or for that matter, did I participate in after-school activities. My focus was to work after school to save enough money to buy an old motorbike. With this in mind, I hope I can demonstrate with my career that with hard work, a lot of passion, focus, and a willingness to both identify and take opportunities, and maybe with a pinch of luck, anybody can be successful and make a positive difference. As my role model, Sir Edmund Hillary, Sir Ed, who was the first person to climb Mount Everest and the first to take a motor vehicle to the South Pole, an old Ferguson farm tractor, said about himself, "You can just be an ordinary chap, but with sufficient motivation, you can achieve challenging goals." I'll say that again. You can just be an ordinary chap, but with sufficient motivation, you can achieve challenging goals. I strongly agree with this quote, especially the bit on motivation. I know at this stage of life, there's a lot of pressure on deciding what you're going to do when you leave school, what career you're going to pick up on. But reflecting back on my past when I was your age, I've got a couple of words of wisdom. 1, don't forget to enjoy the present. 2, don't be afraid to be yourselves. It's no good to do teamwork, but still be an individual. And don't forget to look after your mates. They're very important throughout your life. So these are also important traits to develop for a successful journey ahead in life. So in summary, whatever you decide to do, I strongly suggest you do it with passion and a high level of motivation. It's my turn, it's fading, I suppose, but it's your turn to shine as a star. So go well, stay safe, and enjoy the journey ahead. Thank you.
The fourth inductee is Graham Fortune. This is a posthumous induction. In the 2007 New Year's Honours, Graham was appointed a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit for Public Services. Graham gained his school certificate in 1957 and studied science subjects 1958 and 1959. He achieved university entrance in 1958. While at King's, he became a member of the Caversham Harrier Club, where he enjoyed running around the countryside on Saturdays with the Colts pack. He studied chemistry and geology at the University of Otago, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in 1962 and a Master of Science in 1963. After leaving university, Graham worked as a journalist for the Dunedin Evening Star for 4 years. In April 1964, he joined the Department of External Affairs. Initially, he was in the South Pacific and Antarctic Affairs Division, where he was involved with the administration of New Zealand's Science and Exploration Program in the Ross Dependency and the development of Scott Base. He also gained a lifelong love of Antarctica, visiting several times. Graham then had several overseas postings, including to the Cook Islands in 1965, 5 years in Ottawa, and 3 years in Papua New Guinea, which gained its independence while he was there. After a secondment to the State Services Commission from 1977 to 1980, he was a senior administrator in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for 6 years, before being appointed the Deputy Secretary for Foreign Affairs from 1987 to 1990. Inside Foreign Affairs, Graham left a mark by advocating for an expanded New Zealand role in the Pacific from the 1970s, and by helping to modernise the ministry from the 1980s onwards. Graham served as New Zealand's permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva in the late 1980s. In addition to working on the Uruguay round of World Trade Talks, he was charged with representing New Zealand's bold new position on nuclear disarmament. That stance put the country at odds with major allies and many other countries, and the task was fraught. Graham was also High Commissioner to Australia from 1994 to 1999. Graham was Secretary of Defence from 1999 until his retirement in 2006. This post also had challenges. He was in charge when New Zealand scrapped its Air Force Combat Wing and first contributed to the US-led war in Afghanistan. Subsequently, Graham served as a board member of Antarctica New Zealand and undertook various consultancy roles in policy and management for the New Zealand government. Graham was the keen runner who represented New Zealand in orienteering. He was an orienteering stalwart for decades, including serving as Vice President of the New Zealand Orienteering Federation in 2007-2008. He was a member of the World Cup 2013 steering group and one of the earliest members of the Wellington Orienteering Club. His involvement covered all aspects of orienteering, and Graham was an inspiration to many. And Graham was very interested in the arts and was a keen supporter of the New Zealand Portrait Gallery. Here to come up on behalf of Graham and his family, we have his wife, Kate. Please come forward. The fifth old boy to be honoured today is Lox Callis. Lox was awarded a Queen's Service Medal at the 2007 Queen's Birthday Honours for services to the New Zealand Police. He was a school prefect in 1965 and 1966 and a flight warrant officer in the Air Training Corps of the School Cadet Unit in 1965 and 66. In 1965, he won the award for having the best flight in the Air Training Corps. Lox was in the first 15 rugby team in 1965 and 1966, the school swimming team in 65, and the school gymnastics team in 64 and 65. In life-saving, Lox gained an award of merit, a Bronze Cross and a bar to the Bronze Medallion in 1964. In 65, he was awarded the life-saving bar to Bronze Cross. Lox was awarded the prestigious Duke of Edinburgh Award in 1965. After leaving King's, Lox worked as a labourer before joining the regular force of the New Zealand Army in July 1967. He served in Vietnam from 1968 to 1970 as a radio operator with the 161 Battery. After returning to New Zealand, Lox retired from the New Zealand Army and served with the New Zealand Territorial Army from 1970 to 1998. And in 1998, the Governor-General awarded Lox the Efficiency Decoration, the ED, for 12 years of service within the Army. Lox achieved the rank of Major. He now supports New Zealand's war veterans and helps people who need help getting back on their feet if they're not coping, no matter how many years have passed. After completing full-time military service, Lox joined the police force in 1975 and was a police officer for 43 years. He was appointed as senior constable at Portobello in 1984. During his time in Portobello, he dealt with unexploded World War II bombs, a beached whale, cars in Otago Harbour, any number of road accidents. Inevitably, there are also, sadly, times when he was the person standing at someone's door in the middle of the night telling them a loved one was dead. He was a member of the Armed Offenders Squad that attended the Aramoana shootings. In 2018, Lox retired from the police force at the age of 71. Lox joined the Dunedin Return Services Association executive in 1999. He is a life member, two-term president of the association and chairman of the RSA Welfare Trust. Lox is also the president of the RSA Otago Southland District. Lox leads a group that wants to rewrite the Veteran Support Act to support veterans of the modern era, including those in support roles in the wake of cyclones, floods and earthquakes in New Zealand and the Pacific. Lox was the Anzac Day service convener in Dunedin for 22 years. He's also kindly attended a number of King's Anzac services here at the school. As the Otago Peninsula Community Response Group Coordinator, Lox has worked on a range of events and scenarios in the civil defence portfolio for the area, including landslips, tsunamis and earthquakes. Lox was a founding member of Dunedin Coast Guard and been a member for 20 years. In 2014, he was awarded the Communication and Incident Volunteer of the Year Award for the Coast Guard Southern Region. Lox is a life member of the organisation. Lox has been a qualified Marine Search Controller and Search and Rescue Incident Manager since 2008. In 1998, he qualified as a Commercial Launch Master. Lox has been an Otago Peninsula Community Board member since its formation. He is also a member of Southern Heritage Trust, the Otago Officers Club, and the Peninsula Kill-Winning Masonic Lodge. At a 2017 ceremony, Lox was awarded a Kiwibank Local Heroes Award Medal for his significant contribution to the community. Congratulations, Lox. Please come over.
Well, I haven't prepared a speech, so what could possibly go wrong? However, on reflecting, when I came here this morning, I just thought of the teachers that I had when I first came to the school. A lot of the men had been in the services, Army, Navy and Air Force, and had survived the rigours of combat of that era. And that had an effect on me that I knew that I had an interest in the armed forces. I was grateful for that opportunity. And I well remember corresponding with a teacher here who told me, keep your head down. When I got posted to Vietnam, I took that advice seriously and it worked. I found it difficult when I returned from South Vietnam to readjust to civilian life. However, I managed to overcome those hurdles and I joined the Territorials. But today I reflect on what has gone in the past, and while I don't want to dwell, I think what I'm looking at here today is tomorrow's leaders in front of me. You've all got a choice to make, and whatever vocation that you undertake or want to do, you will make decisions that affect me, my age group, your parents' age group, and also your own peers. My advice is do it wisely and do it well. And I think you should just reflect on what you are going to do. Never put a person in a position where you couldn't do the task yourself if you want to be a leader. If you aspire to that leadership, take a hint from the old Gaelic expression, ach den stuur service, lead but serve. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Tony Merriman. In 1985, Tony was a school prefect in Proximea Kesset to the Ducks. He was a member of the Football First 11 in 1984 and 85. He was awarded a School Blue for football in 1985. In 1984, when in Form 6, he was awarded the Lucas Mathematics Prize and a General Excellence Prize. After leaving King's, Tony attended the University of Otago. He graduated in 1989 with a BSc Honours in Biochemistry, and he then completed a PhD in Biochemistry with Professor N. Lamont as his supervisor. After graduating in 1993, Tony did postdoctoral research at the University of Oxford from 1994 to 98 on the genetics of type 1 diabetes. On returning to the University of Otago in 1998, based on the research needed in New Zealand, he established a program studying the genetic basis of gout, the most common type of arthritis in New Zealand. Professor Merriman's research interests also include outcomes in gout, especially severity and drug response. Tony was made a Fellow of the Royal Society of New Zealand in 2016. In 2016, Tony received a Fulbright New Zealand Scholar Award to undertake research in the United States. He was also one of the 3 researchers nationally to receive a prestigious James Cook Fellowship from the Royal Society Te Aparangi. In 2019, Tony received $3 million from the Marsden Fund Council over the next 3 years for research to understand the evolutionary basis for metabolic disease contemporary Pacific populations. In 2020, Tony joined the University of Alabama at Birmingham in the United States, faculty to join the division's world-leading clinical research in gout. The research focuses on the innate immune system response to monosodium urate crystals, which cause gout. He retained his faculty appointment at the University of Otago. In 2024, at the Gout, Hyperuricemia and Crystal-Associated Disease Network, GCAN Symposium in the US, Tony contributed greatly to workshop sessions, moderating awards, and giving a presentation. In 2025, the GCAN board selected Tony to receive the 2025 GCAN Gold Medal Award, the highest international award for this US-based society. We will now be playing a clip that's been provided by Tony Merriman for you, and after it, his award will be received by his daughters who are here with us today, Cara and Jasmine.
Kia ora all. My name is Tony Merriman, and my greeting is an amalgam of Aotearoa New Zealand Maori and Southern US language. We have lived in Alabama, in the south of the United States, for nearly 5 years. It's certainly a very interesting experience living in the birthplace of modern American civil rights, and also very interesting living in the US right now. I am honoured to be inducted into the King's High School Hall of Fame, and so sorry I can't be there to share this moment with the senior school, with the staff, and with my family. Mr. McIver asked me to share my thoughts on achievement. To me, how to achieve is not something to overthink. It is not complicated. Ask the question, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? Personally, for me, it was understanding, and actually still is, how the human genome works and how it applies to human disease. I also really enjoy discovering new things. It gets me out of bed every morning. For others, including you, it might be gardening, it might be writing, it might be money, accountancy, teaching, cricket, golf, metalwork, army, security. The list is endless, but you really should enjoy what you do. Once you've found something you enjoy and you're good at, then achievement is a combination of a bunch of things. Obviously, you have to work hard, but don't forget that luck and taking opportunities where they arise is very important. Relationship building is very important. And why is this? Well, we all work in networks of people, and if you respect others and treat them fairly and equitably, this will enhance your professional career and what you want to achieve. Treat people fairly and equitably. I think it's really important. Your colleagues, your friends, your family. And another important thing is resilience, and that's the ability to get through things when things aren't going all that well. And again, part of that is these networks you build. If you treat other people with respect and equitably over your career, then they're going to happily help you out when things aren't going well. Of course, you've also got to be confident that you can do what you have set out to do. And that's self-confidence. That is important, but for goodness sake, don't be overconfident. Overconfidence is just the worst thing that can happen, in my opinion. So good luck for the future, guys, and thanks very much for listening to me. Bye.
Our final old boy to be honoured today is Ken Rutherford. In the 1997 New Year's Honours, Ken was appointed a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit for services to cricket. While at King's, Ken was a member of the school's football first 11 in 1980, 1981 and 1982. He was a member of the first 11 cricket team in 1980, 81 and 82 and won the highest batting average in first 11 award in 1981. He was the first 11 captain in term 1 of 1982. Ken was a member of the Otago under-18 cricket team and was in the NZCC's Young Cricketers squad. Ken played for the New Zealand cricket team for 10 years and was captain for part of the 1990s. He made his debut for Otago in 1982-83 at the age of 17. Ken's highest first-class score of 317 was scored playing for a New Zealand touring side against the DB Close 11 at Scarborough in 1986. He began his Test career in horrific fashion with scores of 0, 0, 4, 0, 2, 1 and 5 in the West Indies in 1984-85 and was subsequently dropped from the team. After scoring runs in domestic cricket, he was recalled for the Trans-Tasman series at home and scored 131 against Australia, and made 107 not out against England at Wellington in 1987-88, and continued his good run. Ken played a crucial role against Sri Lanka in the drawn test, scoring 105 not out and 53. Ken's greatest success was arguably in one-day internationals, where he won 10 matches as captain and made his highest international score 108 in a losing cause against India. He was a member of the New Zealand side that reached the semi-finals in the 1992 World Cup, their second best performance in the tournament's history. On being dropped from the New Zealand team in 1985, Ken moved to South Africa, where he played first-class cricket for 5 seasons. After retiring from the playing side of the game, he coached the Irish national cricket team for 2 years. Ken relocated to Sydney to complete a postgraduate certificate program in strategic management, marketing and finance before commencing work with the TAB as a bookmaker and part-time trackside presenter, quickly promoted to head of sports betting in 2003. He then filled a similar role in sports betting for Singapore Pools in Singapore from 2006. Ken headed to South Africa, where he was a media executive for Familia until 2013, taking charge of their TV channel, Teletrack, and publishing and digital platforms. Ken returned to New Zealand to work for the Waikato Club. At the end of 2019, he was appointed CEO of the Hawkesbury Race Club in northwest Sydney. Early in 2022, Ken was appointed for an 18-month stint as the head of wagering, operations and sales at Racing and Sports. And in late 2023, Ken relocated to the Queensland Harness Racing Club, Albion Park. Ken, the Chief Operating Officer at the club. Ken then started a new job on April the 7th, 2025 as the new Chief Executive of the Northern Districts Cricket Association. Congratulations, Ken. Please come over.
Oh, where do we start? First of all, this is a career first. Not the fact I've got that cap, but this is the most quiet assembly I've ever been to at King's High School. What is wrong with you all? Make some noise, for goodness sake. I've had 4 years here, but I reckon 150 assemblies, and boy, do they make some noise. Great to be here. Thanks for the honour, the Kingsman's honour of being the Hall of Famer. A long career, along different things I've done over the course of my time outside of King's. Started here in 1979 actually, and played my first game for the King's High School first 11 in 79, not 1980, Nick, but anyway. I remember going into school down to Southland Boys, and a few of the boys during the game, after the first day's play, took the Billets car out to Areti Beach, had a couple of beers, as you do. I was a third form back then, fellas, so I can't be blamed. But the seventh form was all down to Areti Beach with their Billets in a car, parked the car on the beach, went for a walk down the beach, 4 hours later come back, and the car was underwater. The tide had come in. So a few experiences from the past of King's High School. In 17 years of playing cricket for New Zealand and Otago, I learned one thing, and great words there from Locks and others in terms of some words of advice for your futures which are upon you. I'll tell you one thing about 17 years of playing cricket, everyone, you fail a lot. I failed a heck of a lot. Those ducks that Nick ran out there, they were true. They were in front of 20 to 25,000 West Indian people at Port of Spain, Trinidad, at the Barbados ground at Jamaica, Sabina Park against Malcolm Marshall, Joel Garner, Michael Holding. I mean, they used to fly off the side screen at the other end and come running in at 90 miles an hour to bowl 100 miles an hour at your head. 19 years of age. I played 7 games for Otago, believe it or not, opening batting against these guys. Failed a heck of a lot in that early stage. But one thing I learned, and I think the traits of being here in South Dunedin, I lived 213 Oxford Street, just around the corner all my life up until I was about 22. Some of those traits of being at King's High School and being kind of, you know, the poor cousin to those, can I say wankers, up on the hill at Otago Boys High School. I said it. I'll get told off by Nick later on. But you kind of did have a bit of a chip on your shoulder, didn't you? About being South Dunedin, St Kilda, around this area. But stuff it. I quite liked that. I thought with every failure I have, with every experience I have in life, it's not quite what I wanted. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying to prove people wrong and give it a real good go. The statistics around my actual cricket career are pretty underwhelming, to be quite honest. And you know, I got to 34 years of age with 3 kids and one more on the way, and thought to myself, what the bloody hell am I going to do for the rest of my life? Went and got myself a bit of an MBA, half an MBA, did a bit of postgraduate learning, which I think was important because apart from playing cricket, I had nothing else. I knew how to back a few horses, mostly losers, but that was about it. It wasn't going to get me a job in much other place than the TAB perhaps, but I started again. And I think when I started again at 34 with a family, I sort of learned goals, write them down, let's go step by step by step and sort of try and work a bit of a future, forge a bit of a future for the next 25, 30 years. And when I look back on my life, and I guess I'm here to reflect in some way on that, so I'm allowed to be a bit self-indulgent for once, I'm actually more proud of what I've done since I stopped playing cricket than in fact, when I play cricket. A lot of people remember me from my cricket and my large nose. But since then, I think what I've achieved in terms of my occupation, my career choices have given me a lot more pride to reflect on than what I did during my cricket. So that's about it. I thank the Kingsmen again for this honour. There's going to be a couple of beers tonight at the Chisholm Park Golf Club, which you guys aren't allowed to come to, but these guys are. And there'll be a few more stories. We'll loosen up over a couple of beers. Maybe not as many as I had the night before. I got 317 in that innings, but close to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we now please put our hands together for all of our honoured old boys today? That brings our ceremony to a conclusion for 2025. Thank you again to all of our guests for being here today and those of you that have joined us online. So many of you boys carry the massive potential that these men had at your age. Consider what sort of life you want. Make the best start you can at King's to set you up for success and a good life out there in the real world. One day you too may be honoured here for what you've done and who you've become as a Kingsman. When I soon ask the school to stand, we will wait for our guests to depart the stage as well as those seated in the front rows, and then after that he'll be dismissed by Mr. Smith. School stand.